Welcome to ESL U8 Practice 1. Begin practice with a 15-minute standard warm-up. Here, the players are dribbling around in a grid. The key is for players to keep the ball close, to use quick feet, but tell them to use their eyes to find space. Make sure they don't collide with people. Also, you do different types of dribbling, from right foot only to left foot only, bottom of feet only, boxing, and outside only. To keep the standard warm-up interesting, you have to mix in games. It's really important that the players have fun. So you use a game like the switch game. You have to teach it to them ahead of time. But the switch game, once they learn it, is really easy and the kids like it. You say switch as they're dribbling around and they have to leave their ball and find another ball as quick as they can. The idea is you don't want to be the last player to find a ball. Another game you can play is knockout. When you yell knockout, the object of the game is for players to keep their ball on the grid while trying to knock everyone else's ball out. The idea is that the last player standing is the winner of the game. Here you want to make sure that players don't get too aggressive. They can't just run around and kick people randomly. They actually have to go and try to kick the ball out. Players will like this, but the game might get a little long. So if it does, send in a bulldog. As you see here, a crazy bulldog came running in, and all the bulldog does is they don't have a ball. They just run around and kick other people's balls out. So after the standard warm-up, you're going to move into 15 minutes of working on moves. Keep the same grid. You don't have to change anything here. When you do the moves packages, the idea is you show them the move, demonstrate, and then you let them try it. If they struggle, stop and demonstrate again. The first move in practice 1 is the hook turn. Here you can see we're demonstrating the hook turn to the players. Most of the players pick up on it pretty easily. However, it'll take different players a different amount of time to figure it out. So we demonstrate the hook turn just like this, and then we say, okay, now you try. And the players begin dribbling around the grid, working on the hook turn. If players struggle, you can go to individual players, stop them, and show them how to do it while the other players are carrying on. If all the players are struggling, stop everyone and show everyone how to do it again. Once players learn our moves, then you begin focusing on being a little bit quicker and being a little bit smoother on working on the moves. Just like earlier, we want to keep things interesting. So you can yell knockout or switch anytime you want. Here the players are going into knockout. So it kind of keeps them on their toes, but it also keeps practice fun and interesting. Anytime there's a lull, just play a game. Move number 2 in practice number 1 is the L turn. Just like the other move, you want to make sure that you demonstrate to the players. Make sure you demonstrate in slow motion, and then of course pick up pace so they can see what it looks like going fast. Once the players begin working on the moves, make sure you're watching and checking that every player at least is starting to get the basic idea of how to make the move. They don't have to perfect it on the first day or the second day, but you always want to see progress as they should become quicker and more proficient at the move. Of course, keep things interesting. As you can see here, the coach yelled switch to keep the players excited about practice. The third and final move in the 15-minute move section of practice 1 is a stop and go. Here you're going to demonstrate again how to do the move. Explain to players specifically what part of your foot you are using, and then show them. Here with the stop and go, we stop it with the bottom of our foot, we take it with the top of your foot. And then, of course, give the players a chance to make the move on their own. As they're working on the move in the grid, you walk around and make individual corrections. And if a player is really excelling, encourage them to be quicker. Be quicker with their feet, and be quicker exploding away after they stop the ball. So, by the third move, the players were dragging a little bit, even with games. So we decided to send a coach in to chase and pressure the players. This will add a lot of energy, especially if you're on the third move. The coach runs around, and you try to beat the coach with the move. And of course, if you don't, the coach might just kick your ball away. Again, this should be fun. Okay, the players should have a good time. They should be laughing. And of course, the coach shouldn't be too rough. When you finish with move number 3, you should be about 30 to 35 minutes into practice. You've finished the first 2 parts and you have 2 parts left. Part number 3 is a 15-minute Coerver Package. This is where we combine different skills such as passing, receiving, and dribbling. Coerver Package number 1. This is one of the easier Coerver packages. That said, you have to take the time to carefully demonstrate to your players how to do it. Begin by dividing your team into groups of 3 or 4. Take each group and put 2 players on one side and either 1 or 2 of the other and separate them about 10 to 15 yards. Then what will happen with one ball, a player will take off dribbling towards the other player or the other 2 players. When they get there, they'll stop the ball for their teammate and their teammate will take off going in the other direction. So again, you dribble all the way across and you stop the ball. Then your teammate takes the ball, dribbles all the way across, and stops the ball. But it's not just dribbling. Make sure that you build things in that are listed in the curriculum, such as inside-outside dribbling, boxing. You can even build in moves. So you've made it to the final part of practice. Part number 4 in practice number 1, the game, should be 1v1. Here with the game, you should be demonstrating to players exactly how it's played. Just like the exercise they did in Coerver with Coerver Package number 1, you've got groups of 4, maybe 3. Instead of separating by 10 or 15 yards, separate them by a little bit more. And in this one-on-one exercise, one side of the group is going to play the ball to the other side of the group. When the other side of the group receives it, then they're going to attack 1v1, just like this. And the idea is to use a move, not just speed, but a move to beat your teammate and take it to the other side. Now, players will always switch sides, and whatever side the ball ends up on is the side that they're going to play the ball from. So again, we're kind of sneaking in some passing and receiving in addition to working on one-on-one moves. However, we're not coaching any of the passing and receiving. We're focusing on our objective, which is beating players 1v1. Now, if players can't successfully pass the ball in, you as a coach can start each one-on-one attack with a pass. The problem is if you have too many players and you have 2 groups, you might only be able to help one group. But in this activity, we're encouraging players to use moves and skill. And when they're not using moves and skill, stop it, demonstrate it. Show players specifically in this 1v1 game how to use moves and how to use the types of moves you want. When you stop practice in the middle of an exercise to demonstrate, keep that demonstration relatively quick. Show them specifically what it is you're looking for, and then move on and let the players take charge again of their practice. Here you'll see again this 1v1 game. You have a player, so you can play the ball across the field. The other player is going to receive it, attack 1v1, make a move, and try to go around the player. Again, the big key here is that players aren't just kicking and running, but they're actually using moves. Some other important points with teaching 1v1 attacking in practice 1 is to make sure that you instill confidence in players. Encourage them to challenge people. Encourage them to take people on 1v1. A player who at an early age has a confidence to attack people 1v1 will become a much better soccer player all around.